Welcome to the Deucecast Extra. Thank you for joining us. Late evening usually for us, but I think this is kind of what we're going to do for the new season. We're going to give people the weekend to watch it. You know, you kind of want to give people, that ability to watch it multiple times throughout the weekend, and then we're going to definitely do this on probably Monday nights. I think that's probably going to work best for everybody. But we are talking about, of course, the Mandalorian Chapter 9, the Marshal, and I love the title. I love that it is Chapter 9. They're not doing like Season 2, Chapter 1.
I felt the exact same way.
I thought that was really cool. Thank you. We've got Craig's in there watching us. We got Melissa.
Oh wow, I got some people coming.
Yeah, we got a lot of people, and I know there's a lot of options out there. A lot of Star Wars podcasts that are doing these immediate rewatches and stuff like that. So I appreciate anybody that comes and checks this out. I mean, this is just a small channel compared to most of them, but we have a good time, I think. So welcome. I'm sorry, Marshal Rifen. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
The Marshal of Freetown.
Yes.
And Crit Dragon Pearl. So you're specifically the Pearl.
I am the Pearl been dug out of the guts of you, Mikey.
Yes. Exactly. And I am the dragon.
Mikey.
Yeah, great Mikey.
That was actually grosser than I meant it to be.
No, it's fine. I love it. And this was just to do our quick datapad download. This was a unique episode in the series so far because it was not only written by Jon Favreau, it was directed by Jon Favreau as well. So expertly directed. Yeah. And I think that this is the only one he's directing this season. I think he's going to parse it out to several people, and all those lists are out there. You can look up all the directors if you want to. I even think, unfortunately, if you go deep enough in Reddit, you can even find the titles of every chapter of this season, which I have not done. I don't want to know. What's up, Roth? Thanks for joining, man.
Sometimes that happens. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Oh yeah, no, it's out there. I mean, I know for sure because somebody on one of the live streams that I watched after the episode said that they knew all the names of the chapters. I don't
need to go there.
I'm not going to seek this out. No, I'm not going to seek it out because
just let it flow to me.
Because this title specifically, if you had read the Aftermath books, you would have known that Cobb Vanth was going to be in the episode just by the name of the episode. So it's not, I don't want to seek it out because it could spoil the episode for you. But man, this really starts out with a bang. We start out on, I don't know the name of the planet, but I'll call it the Graffiti Planet.
I don't think they told us.
I don't think they've told us yet. Again, that's probably something somebody somewhere knows.
Fighter Planet or something.
No, I'm calling it the Graffiti Planet because there's all kinds of graffiti, which harkens back to Rebels, of course, and harkens back to me, Sabine Wren. As soon as I start seeing graffiti like that, I think Sabine. So I don't know if this planet is one that she had been on, but there were certainly lots of graffiti. We saw
Fetmatic joined us.
What's up, Fetmatic? We see, of course, what looks like C-3PO. We see a snow trooper. I even thought that I saw a Yoda, but I don't know. Like
you talking about in the graffiti? Is that what you're talking
about? There's a Vader. I think there's a Vader.
I saw like a stormtrooper with like an X over his face or something. Or maybe it was a snowtrooper.
I think it was a snowtrooper.
Snowtrooper.
And then there was the like the C-3PO, and even in that that poster that came out today, I think, of Cobb Vanth. He is, for some reason, they put him in front of the graffiti, and you can see the C-3PO graffiti, and you see the snow. I don't know. He wasn't even on this planet, and that's the character poster. You know how they do these character posters sometimes. They thanks, Rock. Thanks for that. You're thinking that it was the Macquarie 3PO. Oh, look at you. That's a bold choice there, Roth. I don't know if it was Macquarie specific. I don't know. Sabine might not know who Macquarie is. So, because I'm sure
she thinks Sabine did all of that.
Well, she's the only one in the whole Star Wars universe that can obviously do graffiti. I mean, there's
I thought she did better art than that, though. That looks kind of.
No, you're right. So we find out that he's on this this graffiti planet looking for Gor Koresh, which is a new character. Looks like a Cyclops looking dude, and he's looking for Mandos, which I was an interesting thing for me. I mean, I guess he thinks the Mandos can help him.
Yeah, that was odd. He's finding different networks of Mandos. Is that right?
Yeah. Well, and also his network from his home planet, they all went away after they got attacked by Moff Gideon.
Yeah.
The ones that survived, at least.
Yeah. So he thinks that through the network, as he calls it, that he can potentially find Baby Yoda's people.
The Jedi?
The sorcerers.
I don't know.
Sorcerers.
I don't know. I mean, that's kind of like what he gets. So he goes to this source, basically.
LinkedIn for Mandos.
That's right, Craig. Definitely LinkedIn for Mandos. That's good.
Jacob Ross says he's networking. I like that.
He is. He's networking. It's like a meet and greet, basically. So yeah, he's going to find this Gor Koresh guy, which is played, of course, by. Well, I didn't know right away. Some people are like, "Oh, I knew right away that was John Leguizamo," but I had no idea.
I didn't know that at all
until the credits.
Yeah.
Some people. Fetmatic. See, this is why I like Fetmatic to watch us, because he knows stuff. So Nalhutta or Narshada, I like that it could be both of those. I like the history behind both of those in canon, so that'd be cool if it was either one of those, in my opinion. But
my DK book says Narshada. No,
is that
no, it doesn't.
See, I've got
my DK book has no deep dives like that.
I had nothing to do with the creation of this book, but I can highly recommend it. It's actually really good. Yeah. So the Star Wars book.
We just put all of our DK books in storage, so.
That's a sad place for them. But
very wise.
As Hurricane Rhett would say, that's where all the DK books deserve to be. He's not a huge fan of. Yeah. What was slightly insulting? I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything insulting. I don't even know what Roth's a crazy person. Anybody
that might be insulting.
That might be a little insulting.
Anybody that lives in Wyoming, I don't understand those people. No, I like Wyoming.
Now you're insulting even more.
Wyoming is a lovely state.
He's getting me off. Roth got me off track. That's
get back on the Mando. We're talking about Mando. We're talking about.
So he goes to see this guy, and there's an awesome. It looked like an octagon to me of Gamorreans fighting. It looked like the octagon. I didn't count the size, but that's what it looked like. It didn't look like a traditional wrestling ring. It looked like UFC basically. And these two slim Gamorreans. So I mean, they got on like Slim Fast or something. These Gamorreans.
They weren't big dudes.
No, they were muscular.
Fighting weight. Yeah.
And using vibro axes, which I was all about that. That is the first time I heard the term vibro axe was the old West End Star Wars role-playing game, back in like the 90s. That was kind of like the first time, if anybody had played. Earl, you had to have played that, right?
I played something called Star Frontiers, which was a role-playing game, but I don't know if I ever played the actual.
Was that like a knockoff of Star Wars?
Oh, sure. Yeah, no, of course.
That's basically what it was? Okay. I've never heard of
Star Frontiers. Yeah.
Star Frontiers. Yes, John Lasagna. Exactly.
Lasagna.
That's exactly who that was.
Was voiced by Favreau.
Okay.
John Lasagna.
So yeah, I mean, anytime you can bring Gamorreans in this manner was pretty awesome. They were doing the wrestling stuff, and Gor Koresh was not very happy with the performance of one of those Gamorreans.
No.
Well, there was betting going on, right?
He was betting Mando for his Beskar and guaranteeing his win.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and that was the thing. Like, he wouldn't do it, so he said, "Here, I was going to guarantee my win anyway."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead. What were we going to say?
I'm done.
Oh, I thought you said.
No, I stopped to read a comment, but I was like,
Do not get distracted by the comments, especially anything that Roth is typing. Even though everything he's typing is hilarious, but do not get distracted by it.
They skipped a few leg days. Is what he's talking about the workout of the.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So anyways, the wrestling's going on, and Mando's trying to find information on where Mandalorians are. He's
told. Well, never mind. That's later. No, sorry.
Well, in that initial conversation, they do not. Gor Koresh does not say anything about knowing where a Mandalorian is.
Yeah, I mean, he's just trying to bet on the
he's
match.
just trying to get the best car.
Doesn't he say? Yeah, that's what he says. Isn't there a point when he actually says, "I'm a collector of Beskar armor"? Like he's been like scavenging and pillaging these leftover Mandalorian.
He says
armor.
It's hard to find for sure.
Hard to find. There's not. I mean, I think the idea
price is going up, and
the price is going up. The idea that we're supposed to, I think, understand about this timeline is that there are not many Mandalorians left. I mean, that's kind of like
all of that.
The gist of that is if Beskar is getting hard to find, and we even later in this episode, the Weequay or whatever even mentions that he doesn't see many Mandalorians in this part. You know, it's all just leading to the fact that the Mandalorians, I think, were wiped out by the Empire, basically, for the most part.
What is Roth talking about?
Dude, stop looking at the chat. You gotta stay focused. Do not look at the chat.
I'm sorry. I don't need to be distracted.
You're totally distracted.
I really like that we saw kind of brutal Mando at the beginning of the episode because he's threatened. He brings out the whistling birds, and Baby Yoda has his cute moment where he closes the pod on himself.
We had seen we've
seen some of brutal Mando in the first season.
Oh yeah,
like with the droids really on the prison ship, and but it was we'll get into some of that in a second.
No. I mean, that's pretty much what ends up happening. Gor Koresh has his goons, pull guns on Mando, and Mando has to take action. Takes him out, with the whistling things, and then he has to fight a Darth Maul lookalike. A couple of them. Weren't there two?
It was a Twi'lek or.
Well, yeah, the guy, the doorman, big doorman guy that looked like a Lurch version of a Twi'lek.
Yeah.
And then Lurch is from a show, Garrison, called The Addams Family, I think. No, or was that the other one? Was Lurch Addams Family? Or come on, Earl. Earl's like mesmerized by the chat.
I'm reading the chat. They're talking about my background.
All right, Earl.
Distracting.
This is
really
worse
fun.
than
See you later, Earl.
This is worse than if we had like Glosson on.
I know.
Did I get cut? No, I mean I'll get back in the mix. So yeah, he knocks out all those guys.
I was asking you about Lurch. Where's Lurch? Yeah, Addams Family.
Lurch is from Addams Family. Lurch. You rang.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
It's late for me. I'm.
Is it late? I'm sorry.
I'm very fragile. I need my chalky milk and my chicken nuggies.
Oh no.
Yeah. Wow. It was a Twi'lek and a Zabrak. Thank you, Roth.
Yes.
I'm just gonna add Roth to this show, and you can just.
I'll just take off.
You just take
That's
off.
what he wants. Anyway.
You apparently go to the chat. You apparently go to the chat, and no.
I need to turn it off. Would that help?
You do whatever you do whatever you need to, man.
We'll just start putting funny comments in the private chat.
you do, Dr. Earl. You do whatever.
Gotta do it. A Zabrak. He threw the sword at the Zabrak, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, did he hit the human or the? I think he hit that. Yeah. He hit.
Well, it was I mean, the Zabrak was like not a red Zabrak. It was like a flesh-colored Zabrak. It was kind of weird. It was kind of weird.
But there were three guys.
One like that.
Three of them. There were three fighters.
Yeah.
Yes.
I can't remember what the third one was.
I thought there was two Zabraks and
It may have been.
Meshach Abednego, and there was I'm just kidding. So
we probably need to move on from this scene because
so he basically ends up having to chase.
There's a lot to discuss.
No, he has to chase Gor Koresh out of the bar or the wrestling ring area, and gets him to tell him where Boba Fett is. Basically,
he pulls a Batman on him. hangs him
he
upside
tells him
down.
there's a Mandalorian on Tatooine, and he also tells him, and obviously when he says you're not going to die by my hand.
So that begs the question: do you think that he is talking about Cobb Vanth, or do you think he's talking about Boba Fett?
I think he's talking about Cobb Vanth because of the armor.
Because of the armor.
He's heard rumors about
rumors about a guy in Freetown.
Yeah.
Pelaga or whatever they end up calling
Moss Pelag.
And if Boba doesn't have his armor, I bet most people don't think he's a Mandalorian.
No. I mean, well, he's not a Mandalorian. But...
No, and he's still not either way. That's going to be an interesting conflict if we get into it. But
yeah, I mean, the prequels tried to retcon that a little bit and trying to explain that Jango Fett and Boba Fett are not Mandalorians, which, I mean, if Mandalorians are Creed...
yeah, they take their helmet off all the time.
They took their helmet off all the time.
They probably killed people to get that armor, right?
What? Probably. See, that's the thing we don't know too much about. Well, outside of canon, there's probably expanded universe stuff that explains Jango Fett's origins, but really in canon, there's not anything that explains his origins too much.
Well, Boba's armor is like Durasteel, isn't it, or something like that?
No, come to find out that it is Beskar.
Is it now?
Yeah,
really?
most of it is Beskar, and then there's some of it that's Durasteel, but there is Beskar elements,
okay.
and I think in this episode they kind of point that out in a way because a shot does go off of the armor, and bounce off. So yeah, it's complicated. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff in the expanded universe, and even stuff that they're trying to retcon, but
we'll get into some of that later.
No, Craig's right. It's Boba's armor is the strongest Beskar known.
Apparently so.
Yeah, apparently so.
So Sarlacc.
He gets the information he's looking for, and we immediately go back to Tatooine, and he was surprised about Gor-Koresh telling him Tatooine. He's like, I'm very familiar with Tatooine.
That was interesting he said that.
He's like, I have never. Well, you got to think.
I'm very familiar with Tatooine, is what he said.
We were there last season.
Exactly. Well, I was just in Tatooine, and I saw no Mandalorian.
I killed this chick from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And...
exactly. I killed this really horrible guy, Toro Calican. And so yeah, we're back on Tatooine, and
yep,
always back on
Tatooine.
Sedaris.
Amy Sedaris is back, which I like that character. Peli, she's cool. I like her.
Peli.
She is. I don't know about this, Roth. Look, for the most part, I agree with most thing Roth says, but I don't know about this.
I think they set something up in this episode where basically Vanth knew that he wasn't going to be able to keep the armor, and that Mando is not going to give up the armor to Boba, and Boba's going to try to get the armor back, is my opinion. Because Boba's not a Mandalorian.
Yeah, and I think that Boba is so much not a Mandalorian that he probably doesn't know anything about any of the creed.
Yeah, he's just like, that's my armor.
He doesn't know any of the creed of Mandalore. Yeah. He doesn't know any of the Mandalorian history.
That was my dad's armor. That's my armor.
He just knows Dad wore the armor.
I mean, yeah, even in the Clone Wars, a couple episodes that Boba Fett is in, he's just this bounty hunter kid. I mean, he doesn't care a lick about anything going on Mandalore. So I hope that they don't try and retcon and make them Mandalorians, because I think it doesn't fit. Oh, I know, Roth. I'm just messing with you, but anyways,
we're watching the chat, Mikey.
Hey, I can multitask. Apparently, I don't like zone out.
I don't get mesmerized
mesmerized by it. But okay, Craig's the one that keeps distracting me with his
the Boba tea.
Yeah, the Boba tea. That's
one thing I liked about when he gets on Tatooine. They land, and she's telling the droids to back off, and you see some kind of redemption with droids, like the last episode. You see after IG-11, after he was able to trust IG-11, he has a little bit more trust in the droids. So the pit droids, the silly pit droids,
Well, he's changed his mind. Oh, and I love that prequel-esque scene that we get with the pratfalls and stuff. I mean,
you gotta have the pit droids doing some stupid
stuff.
Look,
and I mean, Tatooine, and I agree with Fatmatic here, it is kind of my favorite planet now. I mean, I'm kind of into Tatooine more than I ever thought I would be, just because it's in everything. I mean, obviously, we're going to see it in the Obi-Wan series, the limited series that's coming out. I mean, that's going to take place on Tatooine. Give me all the Tatooine. I'm into it.
I mean, they made it epic in this episode. I mean, just the scope of it, the scale of it. They showed you the map of it, which was cool.
Yeah,
learn about.
I like how there's only 3 cities that we learn about.
There's more to learn, of course. But
well, I mean,
we get a Mos Espa mention too, which
Mos Eisley, Mos
Espa, and then of course. The new Moss
Jakku's not a bad one either.
Pelgo or whatever.
Pelgo.
Now, is that Freetown? Is Moss?
That is. It's supposed to be Freetown. I don't think and I haven't read the Aftermath books in a long time, but I think that the idea is that it's Freetown, but I don't think they ever call it Mos Pelgo in the book, as far as I can remember. I should have gone back, because really the way they do it in the book, it's just 3 little short stories about Cobb Vanth. It's not really like he's a character in the book that often. It's 3. There's like a story with him and Jawas, a story with him and yes, it is like Wyoming. There's a story about him and Malakili. There's actually a story in the book about Cobb Vanth and Malakili hanging out. So I would love to get the Rancor Keeper back hanging out with us. So yeah, I mean, he has that interaction with Pelly. Is that her name? Pelly? And she is very into Baby Yoda, of course. I mean, because who isn't? And she didn't
get to keep him this time.
No, she didn't get to keep him this time. But
I like her better on this episode. For some reason, the first episode I didn't really like.
Well, it's because she's in it less, so it's better.
I was about to say she's in it less.
Okay, that's fair.
She's in it just enough to not be annoying. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, she moves on. She has the speeder he needs.
The Force.
Thank the Force.
Thank the Force.
I heard what? It certainly is not my line or anything. I've watched so many different YouTube shows on this stuff, but
you got to think the droids have thanked the maker, but you can't say maker if you're a human.
That's right.
They have to find something else.
No, but the Force. The funny thing that I heard somebody say is, how come Din Djarin didn't ask her what the Force was? Because he seems like so confused about all of it. Why does? Yeah, he's
probably ignoring
it. he ignored the comment, basically. I mean, that's kind of like what he does. But so yeah, they go. He gets the speeder from her, which is cool.
He gets the swoop bike or whatever.
He gets the swoop bike that was in the episode 5, I believe, of the first season.
I love me some speeder bike.
And Baby Yoda does too. He was like a dog.
They had another close up on him.
A dog sticking his head out the window. I mean, that's basically. Yes. Yeah, because if you think about it, I mean, he really doesn't do much in this episode but look cute. Like
he literally does nothing.
Like the few shots, there's the shot of him on the swoop bike that's cute. There's the shot of him closing the bassinet that's cute. He looks around a door one time. He pops his head out of a spittoon. I mean, it's like,
well, you see him reacting to things, I guess, right?
Yeah,
so
sure.
There's that dog that I'm jumping ahead, but the Tusken Raiders have that kind of is walking toward him. I'm sure y'all have a name for it, but you see his ears go down in fear.
Oh, you're talking about the Tusken Raider dog?
Yeah.
Mastiff.
Oh.
Mastiff.
I looked it up.
Oh, okay. Oh,
yeah, Mastiff, whatever.
Mastiff, like a regular dog.
Wait, that's actually what the dog is called in the Star Wars universe? An actual Mastiff? No. Fatmatic, that can't be right.
Tell me that. We could check the DK.
Very close. Massive.
Massive. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
massive.
That's funny that it's that
probably
close.
Auto-corrected.
That's funny that it probably did autocorrect. You're right. That it is. No, you're probably right on that, because Fatmatic does not get stuff wrong
because he just said it again.
He still says his Mastiff.
no, Fatmatic knows Star Wars. He does not get stuff wrong. But yeah, that is funny that that's so closely named to an actual type of dog.
Probably maybe on purpose.
Maybe on. Oh no, I'm sure it's on purpose, but it's not very. Yeah. So
dangerous hunters found on desert planets, including Tatooine and Geonosis.
Oh.
Is Geonosis a desert planet?
I did. Yeah, that's what I.
It's kind of I get. Yeah, there's desert.
I guess it is. Yeah.
I actually have.
Right. That's right.
You know what? I have one of those because those that know me from the Card Trader Illuminati podcast.
You have a fake dog?
No, I have the Geonosins have one of those dogs. I could like get up and go get it and show, but I've got that, like one of the Geonosin figures that I've got has those dogs. And so I've got the dog from an actual prequel trilogy figure.
Can we see it in Attack of the Clones?
I think so. Yeah.
Isn't it attacking them in the gladiator pit?
Yeah, it's one of the things that's in the gladiator pit.
Yeah, I have that toy then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, now come on, it's an action figure. It's not a toy.
It was a toy when I was a kid.
Sure, Michael.
I was 5 when Attack of the Clones came out. That was a toy, baby.
It was a toy for him.
Oh my gosh. So he's taking the swoop bike to Freetown, Mos Pelgo, and he shows up, and it's your typical one-horse town. Which is great. I love it.
Saloon town.
It's probably very familiar to Roth. He's probably very familiar to seeing that type of that type of town.
That's exactly how all of Wyoming looks.
I love it because he's going in really slow on the swoop bike, which a horse. He's sort of like riding into town, and everybody's it's like so Western. It's perfect because everybody's staring at him, stepping out,
and then he goes into the bar. Very Western.
Oh yeah, I mean, in those one-horse towns, there's always one bar. So he goes.
The only thing that was missing was the Marshal pushing open the doors when he was looking for.
Sure. Yeah, see, like Roth said, it's him every time he goes back to Laramie. It's the same thing. I mean, it's the same vibe, that one-horse town. And he steps into the bar, which is obviously in any Western, the bar is where you're going to get information from. And he steps up to the bartender, which is the bartender is going to know all the information.
Now, what species is the bartender?
He's a Weequay.
Yeah, they said that's what he called him. He called him the species name.
He just called him. He said, which is interesting to me that he called him the species name. But I mean, I guess that if you don't know, well, now you're talking about Cobb Vanth called him Weequay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Mandalorian.
I thought that was his name. I didn't realize that was a species.
No, that's his species, and it's funny to me that he doesn't know this guy's name that he obviously has a history with. Like what? Unless that's like a term of endearment just to call somebody by their species. Hey, what up, Weequay? I don't know. But it's cool. Little Easter egg for those people that love Deadwood. W. Earl Brown played the Weequay, and W. Earl Brown is the bartender in Deadwood that Timothy Oliphant's character from Deadwood. Oh. Yeah, so it's a little Easter egg. It's very cool.
Pretty cool.
Oh, so typecasting.
Well, no, it's for fans of Deadwood.
That was nice.
Legamo.
It is. It's his pet name. That's right. Just call him Weequay.
Yeah,
that's fine.
I like how he asked him. He's like, "Have you seen the Mandalorian?"
Oh, so we just call you Wyoming? Well, that's true. He in some places he does say Roth from Wyoming. So I mean,
Wyoming.
Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah. The Deadwood thing. I mean, I love Deadwood's a great show.
Didn't they have a movie?
Yes, there was. Yeah, I mean, they ended up because unfortunately the way that series ended was sort of they didn't get to really have the ending that they wanted to, and we're talking about Deadwood. So they years later HBO let them do a movie, which it was It was sad because
it ran from 2004 to 2006, and the movie came out last year.
Yes. Yeah, and it was sad because it was after one of the main actors passed away. I can't remember the guy's name, but he was also in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. for a couple episodes. It's a guy that had been around forever, and he had passed away right before they could film the movie. So it was.
I don't know who that is.
Kind of a bummer. Yeah, it's some guy I can't remember the name of, and I'm not gonna look him up. You can just rattle off the cast, and I can tell you if you've got the cast pulled up there, Ryfin. I can tell you the actor's name. If you
there's a huge cast,
it would be top of the cast. It'd be like the first three guys probably.
Oliphant, Ian McShane, Ollie Parker, Jim Beaver, Brad. Man,
just keep reading. We're almost there. Yes, Powers Booth.
Don't like being asked
Powers
to
Booth
pronounce
is the
names.
guy.
Powers Booth. It's
Okay.
Powers
Yeah,
Booth.
okay. He was Malik or whatever.
Yeah, Agents of
Gideon Malik.
Yep.
Yeah,
Gideon
Jacob,
Malik.
you're going to see us delayed. So,
oh yeah, this is delayed. I mean, it's when it says live, it's always like 5 seconds behind or whatever. But so
they still think
read the chat.
Man, it's what that's delayed way more than I thought it would.
Oh yeah, it's actually pretty big. Bigger than you think.
Interesting.
Sorry guys, we're delayed.
That's very delayed. That's crazy. So they're in the bar. The Weequay is like, yeah, we haven't seen many of your kind, but we
what
see
does
this.
He look like? He looks like me.
He looks like me. That's a great line.
That was a great line,
by the way. And then
what do they look like? They look like me.
And then we.
That was a great line.
All right, Craig, Craig is losing it. Craig is losing it. I don't know why anybody watches this. We should not do these things live, probably.
Our chat is distracting us.
Oh man, yeah, he looks like me was a really good line, and then Boba's the silhouette of Boba is or Cobb Vanth in this case, but we think, and it's funny because
skinny Boba.
I love the establishing shot of it because from minute one, you're like, that's a kid playing dress up.
No, you're
that's
right.
Not Boba.
You don't think that's Boba Fett
it's
at all?
It's very amateur.
Yeah, and that's the look that they're going for, obviously. I mean, because Cobb Vanth just uses the armor to protect the town, basically. I mean, he's not using it for anything other than that because it is basically, it's got the weaponry and it's got the Beskar. He's got everything he needs to protect the town at that point. And so then we get one of
Apparently, he's got a whole bunch of missiles to keep reloading to shoot out of the back of his.
The most interesting thing about the missiles to me is they're very tiny. They're short.
Yeah, they pack a punch.
Bulba's missiles, when he had them on, were taller than him.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if he's making these or getting them made or something like that from the townspeople, that kind of thing.
Yeah, they have a lot of artillery, as we find out later. I mean, they have a ton of resources.
Why haven't they already done this?
In this town that's out in the middle of nowhere, in their town
and just put the.
They have a lot of resources. It's crazy.
I guess you blow everything up, though. That'd be bad.
Yeah, exactly.
You probably don't want to do it in the town. No,
that would be bad.
Freetown is much more wealthy and opulent than we think because they have all the resources.
I mean, yeah, that's the thing. People wouldn't come in to make those people slaves, as we'll talk about in a second, if they didn't have wealth there. There wasn't something to be had.
The mining commission. Is that what they called themselves?
Yeah,
wasn't there a mine nearby or something as well? Is that?
Yeah, I mean that's probably why the mining commission's hanging out.
They got to mine the spice. The spice must flow.
No, it's not the spice. It's moisture.
I'm thinking something else. Sorry,
it's moisture. It's moisture. They want the moisture evaporators. It's water.
Moisture miners.
Yeah, exactly. So that we get an interesting conversation between Cobb Vanth and it's funny because he takes his helmet off and
he immediately takes the helmet off.
And Mando's like, whoa, this ain't no Mandalorian. This dude's just taking his helmet off.
Give me your armor.
Yeah, and he's immediately that's the thing that I like about the Mandalorian. He's a man of few words and he doesn't mince words either. He's like, give me your armor like right now. And the guy's like, well, yeah, let's talk about this a little bit. He's like, you want to do this right here? It was a great, just
in front of the kid.
In front of the kid, in front of everybody. Yeah, I mean, it was a great. It
was a good standoff, I thought.
It was a good standoff, and it was sort of broken up by kind of the MacGuffin of the episode in a way, or I guess the villain of the episode in a way. The Great Dragon.
right afterwards he tells him that he bought it off some Jawas, which we're starting to get into territory of it contradicting books.
Yeah, I mean, like I said in the Aftermath
book,
you
could tell a wrong story.
Yes, and that is also a point I want to make later.
Yeah.
Okay.
When we get to the flashback stuff.
Oh, well, let's go ahead and talk about that, because I mean that's pretty close to after we see the Crete Dragon, the Tremor episode, the Tremor version.
Yes.
All we see is this thing running through town to get to a bantha.
The Crete Dragon to me is well, I mean, I haven't really read it all, but it's kind of Dune-y to me. And I know Star Wars is sort of has taken some aspects of Dune.
It was a little too Dune-y in my opinion.
Yeah, it's not necessarily Tremors though. Well, I mean, it is sort
of.
That
one scene where it's just going through the town and you don't see
and
it.
Gets the bantha, which I love the look of the banthas in this episode.
Oh yeah, they look great. I mean, I don't know how they did that, but I mean, the practical effects that they used to make those things, it looks really cool. I'm sure there's some CG mixed in, but the close-ups were great. Of those banthas. I loved it. So yeah, then he kind of tells his story about how he got the armor. So go with what you were going to say, Ryfin.
Oh, I was just going to say that well, there's a few things. First off, I haven't read the Aftermath books. I learned that it was a contradiction of canon after watching the episode and seeing people talk about it on Twitter about him apparently like fighting over the armor at one point and killing a guy for it, something like that.
Right.
And he may leave that out of the story and lie to Mandalorian. I believe that could be the case. Or they could have changed canon. Those are the two things there. If he's lying, then I think we'll see him again at some point. And that will maybe be brought up.
Yeah, I mean, I get the idea that we are going to see him. Now, I don't know if it's going to be again in this season.
Here's my idea. Okay.
Yeah, what's up?
We do a Rashomon style episode. Everyone tells a story of Cockpit getting the armor. And it's all a completely different story.
It's every time.
Deep dive. Rashomon. Whoa.
Yeah. Akira Kurosawa. So there you go. Keep it with the Kurosawa theme.
So what specifically in Rashomon, for those people that haven't seen it, do you think elements that they would use from that?
Oh, it's literally a movie about a story being told like 10 different perspectives, and it's all different every time. Yeah.
Oh, I like that. I mean,
that's a great movie, and in fact, I'm pretty sure you never learn which one's the real story. So.
Okay, that's.
But they're all a little different, right?
Yeah, Jacob, there was 2 points of view, I think, in TLJ, if I remember correctly.
We don't need to talk about the sequel trilogy. We're talking about good Star Wars here. Just kidding. We're the sequel trilogy is fine. But
so what you said lately, Mike.
Look, I think everybody knows how I feel about the sequel trilogy. It's fine.
So they take off after the story. Well, I guess the story. Do we finish the story? So
no, because I think there's some important elements within that story. I mean, a couple of interesting things that I think that we haven't really seen the perspective in the Star Wars universe about how people get information. Of course, there's like in the books, it's very clear that the HoloNet's a thing, and people get their news and their information off of that. But that's not really very explained in actual what used to be called Lucas canon, which was anything on film.
Canon.
Yeah, G canon, which was anything on film or anything animated. I
listened to Leland Chi tell me about that.
Yeah, exactly. And so,
isn't that his name?
Leland Chi was the Holocron keeper. Yeah, he's still employed with Lucas.
It was I think Celebration 6 or something.
Yeah, and I think it was cool to get to see what was presumably the HoloNet that they were looking at in that bar, learning when they were talking about the second Death Star. And it was funny because he specifically said, not the first Death Star. He was like, not the first Death Star, the second one. So it's like these people on Tatooine, which is an outer rim planet, are getting news on what I can only imagine was the HoloNet. I guess. I mean, they didn't spell that out, but that's really kind of the first time that we had seen anything like that portrayed in Star Wars, especially on a planet like Tatooine that you wouldn't think would have the ability to see that information.
If you want to match it up to the explosion, is this the same as the Return of the Jedi explosion, but with the Falcon composited out?
Yeah, exactly.
I was also going to do a comparison of that, actually.
Okay,
so that's pretty much it's the same special edition Return of the Jedi explosion.
No, but yeah, I mean, Roth. I hate to say this, but Roth makes a good point. That
hate to say it,
that the Holonet was in Rebels, but as far as live action is concerned, I'll put it that way. This is like really the first time we've seen usage of the Holonet in a way to get news.
Was it like CNN for the whole galaxy?
Sorry about your dog, Jacob.
Wait, what about his dog?
His dog.
What?
Did you not read that comment?
No. Leland actually messaged me on answer. What? What's going on?
We're having a whole other conversation.
Dog packs away. Oh, that's really nice. Wow. That's really cool, actually. Okay. Yeah. The dog. Sorry about your dog, man.
Wait, who's Leland?
He's the keeper of the
He's the holocron keeper.
Oh, the holocron guy.
He's the dude that actually works for Lucasfilm and knows.
Okay.
And he's got like this massive database of information about Star Wars on this. I took a picture with him when yeah,
wow, that's pretty cool.
I did. Yeah, I liked the Holonet scene. I mean, I thought it was really cool to see that. I mean, that's why I continue to talk about it, I guess. But so we see him, telling his version of the story that he wants the Mandalorian to hear.
And while he's telling it, he's riding on Anakin's engine from. It looks like one of his pod racer engines. I don't know what it is. That's
as they go across the desert.
Yeah, no, I don't think that. I don't want to believe that that's actually Anakin's pod racer engine.
He hopped over to Mos Espa and was like, "Hey, this looks cool."
Yeah, I mean, the Boonta Eve. What was it called? Was it the Boonta Eve race? I refuse to watch that movie. I'm sorry to tell you that. What? You're not a Wait a minute. This is a revelation. I didn't know you were not a prequel fan.
I'm not a Phantom Menace guy.
Oh, wow. That's harsh, man.
Yeah.
Phantom Menace is awesome. How dare you?
Yeah.
Wow.
Sorry. There's something about that when I was a kid. I just found the movie boring. And so I just haven't watched it in a long time.
I just want to pause right here. This is a big deal for me because Fatmatic it's Boonta Eve and I got something right. And I just want to pause.
It's got Greg Proops calling the match.
Greg Proops, yeah.
Proops, yeah.
Yeah. That's that guy
from Whose Line Is It Anyway? Fame.
That's right. Or stand-up comedian.
Roth is very upset about your.
I know. I'm kind of upset too. I didn't know you didn't. You're hating on the Phantom Menace. I mean,
I bought it like 5 times. I don't know.
I think I've got at least 5 different versions of it now. Also,
I've got 2. I think.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh wow, Melissa, this is a cleansing.
That one
moment.
needs to be fell asleep.
This is a cleansing
movie
moment.
Yeah.
I went to that with my dad when it came out, and it was like a packed theater to see the Clone Wars movie.
No, I did too. I went and saw the Clone Wars.
We all did
too, and I don't recall it being packed, but
ours was. But
well, I mean, you're in like a 1-horse town, though.
Oh God, it's like a 12 theater. I don't know.
That's right. This is Star Wars. This is everybody purging the things that they don't like about Star Wars.
I thought we were talking about Mandalorian. What?
No, we're helping.
I thought we were on the desert with the 2 guys on their bikes.
So I've got the VHS. I've got the regular DVD. I've got a Blu-ray, and I've got the 4K. So I only have 4 versions.
Yeah,
also.
mine copies are buried. All I can pull out is this.
Melissa throwing shade at Wyoming.
That's all I can pull out.
Wow.
Do they have talkies in Wyoming? Wow. Woo.
I'm gonna have to. I'm just gonna have to let them work that out in the chat. I mean, that's vicious.
That's their business.
We're not even halfway through this episode. We're not even halfway through the episode yet. This is not supposed to be the way this went.
Some of us have to go vote tomorrow, or go to work, or do one of those things. Don't we?
Yeah.
Okay, so
I'll try to wake up.
We're not going to get into that though. Let's just
the mining commission shows up, and they look like, they reminded me of the villain that was in The Incredibles. The miner guy with like the half helmet.
Yeah, just a little. Yeah,
it's exactly what that reminded me of when I saw those people. Or the decraniated. That's some Star Wars knowledge there for you. The decraniated. They kind of looked like the half head or whatever. Good grief, Roth. I'm sorry that you're unemployed and that your dog is dead. I'm sorry, Rob.
That didn't.
Why are we laughing at this?
I was tabbed out. I was tabbed out. I had no idea what you were talking about. I was like, that sounds terrible.
It is terrible.
Sorry.
This is sad.
Sorry.
I'm sorry, dude. Good grief.
Come to Alabama. We have jobs here.
No, we don't. The rent here is horrible, apparently. I saw somebody lamenting the rent price. Craig. Oh my god. Oh gosh, this is okay.
What are we
Earl,
talking about?
Please, Earl, do something.
Mandalorian. They get
Episode
off
9.
Yeah, well, they get off of their bikes to go check out, I guess, where
And
the
those
dragon is, and they run into the massives. They
come out, and
then
Mando speaks massive.
Yeah, he's a massive whisperer.
He's a massive whisperer.
Yeah, and he's loving all over the doggy. He's loving all over the doggy.
Does he speak Tusken Raider there?
Yes.
Dude, is that what he does? And the guy like, or whatever he does.
So maybe he's been to Tatooine, like he said. He's very familiar with Tatooine.
We saw him last season, I think, speak with the Tusken Raiders.
Just via sign language only, though. I mean,
you're right. Yeah,
he didn't throw out the language. Like he knew that
he was holding it in. So
yeah, he knew. Oh my gosh, Earl, that's pretty good.
Is that right? Am I doing it right?
No, you're right. You're speaking.
Or is that Klingon? I don't know what I'm speaking.
You're speaking Tusken Raider. I mean, that's exactly.
Good. I'm gonna develop a language.
You're going to develop the Tusken.
I will develop the Tusken.
Hey, there's plenty of.
They developed some sort of Tusken sign language. So
okay, so that's actually a pretty cool story. Like there was actually a person that was deaf that was on set that got to make up that like sign language. So I thought that was pretty cool.
That's cool.
That's it's really neat when stuff like that happens. And so they have this whole conversation, and of course Cobb Vanth is, you get the idea that the Tusken Raiders and the people in Mos Pelgo don't have a good relationship, because Cobb Vanth is like, you came and
they're Raiders.
Took just because they look. Maybe we should just call them Tuskens. I mean,
they're
because
Raiders.
Sand people.
Come in, they steal things, they pillage.
No. See, now that's a generalization about the Tusken Raiders. You shouldn't.
No, that's
you shouldn't say that.
Lucas called them that.
Well, we're trying here. Here's what
they're filthy, dirty people.
No, the Mandalorian. The Mandalorian is trying to change that stigma. These are just.
One of the things they pretty much admit that they both stole from each other.
Well, right, yeah, because the Tusken was like, you stole our water.
When they make the peace deal that we'll get to in a second, I mean, pretty much the town is told that they won't come and bother you ever again unless you go and bother them first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
all that to say, they have something in common. They both need to get rid of the crate dragon.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, right. I mean, that's the common bond there. I mean, they don't. Well, I mean, I think that all along the Raiders knew about the Pearl, which, man, if we want to dive into the significance of the Crit Dragon Pearl, there's all kinds of stuff in non-canon material about that Pearl. Like, it apparently has had been used to create a lightsaber at some point. I mean,
I read that.
There's all kinds of stuff. I mean, it's not in this book right here because this book is canon only.
I read that the Sand People see it as like a sign of bravery because you went out and killed a great dragon.
Yeah, no,
I mean, get the pearl as sort of the
but also there's a lot of significance to it in non-canon material too. It's a pretty big deal to have one of those. No, I mean this is very true. I was going to say if we were watching Yellowstone, the Sand People are basically the indigenous people of Tatooine. So
that is true, but there was I think there also one thing I noticed in this episode because of the way the music that Gorison used.
Mm-hmm.
There was sort of a Middle Eastern vibe to it, which really drove me into the Dune world because there was a lot of views of the people, the Sand.
Also like the Fremen, or the
they're like the Fremen. They're like Bedouin. They kind of have this Bedouin vibe about them. So I thought it was really interesting how he kind of tied it a little bit. I'd never really thought of them like desert nomad Bedouin type folks, but it was kind of interesting. But you're right, there is more of a Native American vibe.
There's a non-canon book. It was really like the last book that came out right before Disney was like everything forward is going to be canon. But Kenobi, that John Jackson Miller wrote, has a lot of Tusken Raider stuff in it.
Love John Jackson,
and it goes into that, and it goes into that type of stuff. Yes, we are.
Jacob, I had no idea what they were saying. Fremen. I mean, I know that's from Dune.
It's Dune.
I mean, Dune is life. You got to get into
it. Yeah, Dune is life. Exactly.
But some of those scenes when they were sitting
Joey
in front of
here, he would be raving about.
No, I mean, Joe, he's way into Dune. But no, Melissa, I mean, just to get you started, I mean, the stuff that I read about the Crit Dragon Pearl was from Knights of the Old Republic. So if you look up some of that Knights of the Old Republic stuff, I'm Fetmatic. I totally agree. That book was one of the best, unfortunately non-canon now, one of the best like Star Wars books I'd read. And John Jackson Miller is just a really talented writer, and
he's great.
that book is really, really good.
You think they'll use that for the series?
That's
speculative.
Yeah, I mean, they certainly could, but it sort of tells a story away from Skywalker. I mean, he's in it obviously a little bit, but the story itself is more of that Kenobi gets involved in a local spat between the people and the Tusken Raiders and sort of has to deal with all that. So, I mean, I don't think they'll use anything from the book. I mean, it's a good book, but I don't think they'll use anything from the book. They obviously don't even want to use anything about Cobb Vanth from the Aftermath book. So,
John Jackson Miller is a very good guy, too. I watched him in a Celebration signing event. Have a guy continue to go, and can you sign this? And can you sign this? And can you sign this? And he was really nice and polite. And
he's written a lot of Star Trek books also. I mean, he's done both. He's written quite a few Star Wars and quite a few Star Trek books. No Dune books though. I mean, sorry, Earl. So
I've only read the first one, so don't.
So the townspeople and the Tuskens are going to work together to take out the Crit Dragon. So they go get this very wealthy town, gets all the ammunition and ties it to these banthas. I mean, and they've got like so much ammunition. I've never seen.
One of them drops on purpose. He was trying to blow up the town by dropping them.
Yeah,
Tuskens.
And I like the Vanth. He steps in and he's telling people to chill out.
Let's chill.
It's a mistake.
Yeah.
Even before that, Cobb sort of has a standoff with the guy over that.
Yes,
that,
in the
green.
Yeah, yes, and that comes up later.
Yeah. I mean, they're all friendly later because of we're not going to talk about Chuck Wendig, Roth,
or Dune. Although I will bring it back up, actually.
So we finally are getting to the point where we're venturing out to the cave that at some point in the episode they sort of did a scouting mission and they learned about the cave, and now they're taking everybody. From
the way the Mando talks in his talks with the Sand People, they've been studying this thing for like a long time. And they know its sleeping habits. They know when to feed it to keep it sleeping longer, and they know all kinds of things about this thing. They just can't kill it. without the numbers.
Didn't they like have a little skeleton they laid out and put the little pieces out? And
it was a big. They planned it all out. I mean, it was like a military mission type situation.
He's like, we're going to need more people, So
yeah, I mean, and he lived in an abandoned Sarlacc pit. I mean, that
was said there's no abandoned Sarlacc pits.
Well,
except and then he was wrong.
But then Mando said something to the effect of, if it eats the Sarlacc or whatever. But
if you got a bigger,
a bigger,
you're going to need a bigger boat.
Look,
get into Phantom Menace here.
I was going to say we learned that in the Phantom Menace. There's always a bigger fish.
Yes.
I mean, that's right. The drink is like the peyote of Tatooine. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because it looks like some fruit almost. That I suppose they could have gotten off of a cactus type plant because, if you know cactus, they do have a fruit. So it could have been kind of like that situation. But they're sort of planning this, how they're going to attack. Yeah. And just like any of those type of plans, I mean, you can plan it out, but when you're dealing with something the size of a crit dragon, there's no way the plan's going to work as well as you want it to. But we certainly get to see some cool sequences.
Now you're saying crit a lot. Is it crit or crate like the planet in TLJ?
Probably crate. Which
I think it's crate, right?
I'm trying to avoid saying that just because it's in a sequel trilogy. So I'm trying to avoid saying the word crate. I don't like to say the word crate.
Well, I will say that there's one scene that I was like, man, Mando is giving a lot of exposition, which I thought was kind of out of character for him when he was talking to the townspeople. He goes, we will need to make sure we work together. And he was giving this like exposition in his voice. And I was like, it seems like, I thought it was just like overly expository, overly wordy for the Mando, I guess.
Well, I mean, I think it's probably.
Yeah, I think he was taking charge in that moment.
I understand that. And he did it again, like later on when they were talking about, we must lay down I don't know what I'm talking about, like Batman. We must lay down the charges.
Bail.
If you think about it, though, it's the whole like Magnificent Seven or that concept of where the outsider comes in and teaches the townspeople how to do.
Or Seven Samurai.
I don't know what that is.
Or Rashomon.
It's like that Denzel Washington, The Magnificent Seven. It's that Denzel movie.
Yeah,
where
not Yul Brynner.
Not Yul Brynner. It's a Denzel movie and the Chris Pratt movie. But they have to. The townspeople are always, just dumb, so they have to be taught how to fight. Basically, they couldn't have been doing that on their own at all.
Chapter 4, yes.
They need the teacher, the warrior.
Except
the warrior has shown up.
Except it's not like Chapter 4 where it's so on the nose about it being Seven Samurai.
Right. Exactly. Oh yeah, no. Chapter 4 was definitely on the nose about it, but I mean, yeah, this certainly had. I've felt vibes of that though, where I mean, Mando's coming in, and
it kind of feels like the episode where he's with the Jawas, and to get his ship parts back, he's got to kill the mudhorn. Yeah,
the mudhorn. Yeah, and instead of a pearl, it's an egg.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like
there's some. I kept thinking like Baby Yoda was going to do something at one point. Like I thought he was going to
Yeah, I mean, he really did. All that they used him for in this particular episode was reactions, like cute reactions. I mean, that's kind of like all. But I mean,
I'm cool with that. Occasionally, give us some force. Force. Do the magic hand thing.
You don't want to do it. You don't want to do it too much. Then it just gets rote.
What? I don't know this reference. Suka. Is that I don't know that reference. Sorry, Fitmatic. I don't know that reference. Suka. I'm not sure what that is.
Jawas? I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. Oh yeah, where they were yelling about the egg, the Suka.
Yeah.
That's what that.
And then they opened it up and was pulling out that
yeah, the yolk. Yeah, that's exactly what that was.
So they do that. I love the way that the Banthas were in this line and they had to march across the dunes,
single file.
And the music during that was real middle. It was just really cool. That was a really well.
I like Goranson a lot. He's so young in his career. He's already won an Oscar. I mean, he's very close to an EGOT.
Yeah, I mean,
he's amazing,
but he's still got a lot of work ahead of him.
Oh yeah, he'll be at it for years. I mean, he's really talented.
He may end up being the next Williams.
I think he's so different from Williams that I just can't compare them. Like he's so modern.
Did you guys watch like the red carpet thing they did on Friday night? I think, it was Friday night, and he had a live performance of the theme song on this live stream that they were doing on StarWars.com. It was awesome. I mean, he had like a full orchestra in this room, and it was good. It was great.
There's moments in Tenet where he takes a song, and I don't know if you realize this, but later
he
on
did
in the movie,
score for Tenet. Wait, wait, what?
Did you not know that?
Goranson did the score.
Did you really not know that?
No,
yeah, he really did.
Oh, I thought you were joking.
No, I didn't know that he did that. Oh, that's awesome.
There's moments where he takes some of the score at the beginning of the movie, and towards the end of the movie, he's playing the exact same score but backwards in some of the songs. So people have reversed the music. Yeah.
No spoilers.
Yeah, no spoilers for Tenet, but there are some backward scenes.
I'm gonna have to go see Tenet again now.
Yeah, I may go do that soon too.
I didn't pay attention enough to
sing his own music.
Obviously,
I heard something about that on Steve's.
Yeah, Craig posted that. It was really funny. He's like,
Steve's
yeah, Stephanie. Did Stephanie release something where Mando was singing his own music or something?
Yeah. Glossom played it on Geek Out Loud.
Dude, I know, Melissa. I feel horrible that I didn't know that was Goranson. I just wasn't paying attention. Well, because
wake up, man.
No, those two have never worked together. It's usually Hans Zimmer and Nolan. So I'm surprised.
That's fair.
Yeah, well, Zimmer said that Dune was a passion project for him, and he was already doing like 2 other films that year. So Wonder Woman and something else. So
yeah, and Black Panther was the one he won the Oscar for.
Yes,
I mean that was that's such a good soundtrack.
I think he even got an Emmy from that too. So
how do you get an Emmy from Black Panther and an Oscar?
Soundtrack, something like that. Yeah.
No, I think his Emmy's got to be from Atlanta because he does a lot of music with Donald Glover.
Oh, I'm sorry, I said Emmy. I meant Grammy.
Yeah, Grammy.
Oh, Grammy.
Yeah.
Emmy. Yeah, I think
the Emmy is for Mando, right? Mandalorian.
Yeah, he just won the Emmy for Mando.
Yeah, he just won that one.
And now he needs a Tony, and we were talking about they need a Star Wars musical.
Then he's got the EGOT.
Or a Tenet musical. Have people running backwards on
stage. They could do a Mandalorian musical. The Mandalorian musical would be awesome.
So there's the great scene where they're at the mouth of the cave.
Yes.
I'm just going to bring it back in. I love this perspective. And they'll have the lone Tusken Raider sitting there, and that's very Dune-ish. Like the scale and the smallness. I don't know why, but I was like, that is like from a Dune cover or something.
Oh, it's totally intentional. I mean, that whole sequence was Dune. I mean, that
it just made me realize Dune better get their product out quick, or everybody's going to say, "Oh, this is so derivative."
Well, can you imagine that they just used the stagecraft technology for that? I mean, that's insane. I mean, sure,
it is amazing what they were able to do. Yeah.
Yeah, and they were able to do this all during the quarantine where they were working on these visual effects at home. So yeah, it's pretty awesome. I mean,
Jacob, we're about to bring that up.
Go ahead, bring it up.
Okay, I am convinced that they were going to play this pre-corona in limited IMAX theaters.
It makes sense
because it's an IMAX aspect ratio change. Now, in home setups, it's technically 1.78 aspect ratio that it flips out to 16:9 as they call it as well.
Right.
IMAX actual digital IMAX aspect ratio is 1.9, so you would actually have black bars at the top, but no one wants that because it doesn't fill up your screen. Anyway, I could go on and on about all the different aspect ratios in IMAX, but I'm very convinced that that because they did that and it's done so well with the crate dragon coming up out of the ground and then expanding, you don't really notice it at first.
Yeah,
and then you're amazing. Like, oh, your entire screen's filled up. I'm very convinced that that was going to be playing in select IMAXs.
So let me ask you this: when you watched it on your setup that you've got at your place with the projector, did it fill up the projector screen too?
Yeah.
Oh, that's bad.
Well, it kind of just draws back. It goes slow too. I watched it today.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice it the first time until
I didn't because I was on my iPad the first time, so it really didn't make a difference.
Yeah,
it was only when it went down I was like, oh, okay. But I watched it on the setup today, and it fills up the entire screen. And the only issue with that is some people mask their projector screens down to widescreen 2.35 aspect ratio, and so when it does that, I've seen some complaints of people like, I masked my screen and it went over.
Yeah, why would you what's the reasoning? Why would you mask your setup at home like that?
So it just only shows the portion of what is 235.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't. Yeah, that's interesting. No, I love that though. I mean, because it's actually longer. I paid attention. I've watched it 4 times, and I paid attention the 4th time. It's actually much longer than you think it is. I mean, they leave it in that aspect ratio longer than you would think they would. It's really like during that whole sequence where the crate dragon is hanging out.
And it kind of pulls you in. Like I felt like it pulled me into the action.
And then they do that. They do that kind of long shot on Oliphant's face too.
Right.
Like that Jaws kind of thing where it zooms in.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
That was awesome. I mean, that whole scene was just, and I think the pace picked up, and I think it all of a sudden pulled you in, and like I was like, oh man, I'm into this thing, and like they were shooting those harpoons.
I mean, the whole thing.
Oh my gosh,
Favreau's just a master. I mean, that whole sequence is really, really great. I mean, because a lot of it's not practical. Obviously, I mean, they're doing a lot of digital effects and CG in that scene, and
it's a mixture.
It looks
of both.
so good. It looks so good, though. I mean,
that's the thing I like
Jacob
about
says. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and Oliphant, he's been.
They flew off. Oh, that was amazing.
And the good thing
what is it called? The Rising Phoenix.
Yeah, the Rising. Yeah, exactly, Rising Phoenix. And Oliphant's been in the industry so long, and he's done so much work with green screen and knowing his reactions to stuff. If you watch him in this episode, he's just a pro at that stuff. I mean, because you obviously know there's nothing there, unless they got some of that on. That's the advantage of using that stagecraft technology, is the actors can actually see some of the visualization of this stuff. So I don't know if they were on set when some of this was going on where they could see like the scale of the crate dragon. That would be cool. I mean, because if you watch the gallery,
I hope they do another gallery.
I'm sure they will. I mean, they'll probably not release any Marvel show, so they'll have to do another gallery just to make us wait for more Marvel shows to come
release
out.
Any Marvel shows.
Yeah,
WandaVision's coming out at some point. Who knows when?
I thought one
this year.
I like your theory, Michael. Yeah. They're just done with.
They'll just pull all the MCU stuff, and we'll never get it. But anyways. We got
the Han Solo move.
We got to wrap it up somehow. What else you got?
He starts shooting out this kind of venom or maybe acid. I don't know what it is exactly.
He was killing people, wasn't it?
I thought about I've pictured it as like stomach acid or whatever.
Yeah, I was melting.
Well, I don't think he's puking, because I think it's coming from something else. If you know what I'm saying, like I don't think it's coming from his
like a snake, like a venom.
Yeah,
exactly. That's why I'm saying venom. Yeah. Because it kind of reminded me of that. And then, you got a lot of great. No, I have not seen the gallery yet. You got a lot of great action sequences in this finale of the episode.
Oh yeah, I mean it's constant. It's nonstop. I mean,
it's very well directed.
Exactly. I mean, there's really good scenes where between Mando and Cobb Vanth where he's like, look, I've got this idea. Take care of the baby for me, because he didn't know if he was coming back from this.
And he hits his jetpack. That poor Boba's jetpack. That's like the second time it's gotten hit.
Yeah,
he taps it, and I like what Melissa said. It was like hitting the back of the horse of the other guy.
And this is true too about the acid stuff. That's like Starship Troopers.
It is.
Yeah. So that's.
Which apparently was shot in Wyoming. Did you guys know that?
Wow. Did you just pull that out of your head, Earl?
That's awesome. Yeah. Look, I mean, we get it.
Hey, I'm a big Starship Troopers guy.
we get it.
You
Wyoming's
like
great, Roth.
Paul
we get it.
Or whatever his name is.
Paul Verhoeven, yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. I'm talking about the book, not the Robert Heinlein book.
Come on, that is the most pretentious thing I've ever heard you say.
I actually have a Starship Troopers role-playing game from like the 1970s, which is amazing.
From the 1970s?
Oh yeah.
I had no idea the property was that old.
Oh yeah. It's an old book. It's probably,
okay. Well,
anyway, let's not talk about Starship Troopers.
Troopers, Robert Heinlein books.
So we got a bantha loaded with explosives.
Yes, and Mando is going to put himself in the crate dragon to load the package.
I love that the bantha almost like got away. Like he's like, what?
Yeah.
He had to grab the.
Yeah, I mean it's all of that whole sequence. I feel sorry for the bantha. I mean, obviously the beast of burden.
Bantha.
The bantha. There's a lot of dead banthas in this episode. I mean, there's a lot of
bantha.
There's a lot. Yes, a lot of dead banthas. That's right. No, Wyoming, not full of pretentious people. Exactly. Is that y'all's like state slogan? Wyoming, not full of pretentious people.
It's on their license plate. Not full of pretentious or really many people at all. So.
Dude, I felt sorry for the banthas. They have feelings too, man. I mean, they just to know that your whole purpose is to be strapped with a bunch of bombs to be thrown into the.
That was a bit of a Jaws move, by the way.
Totally. No,
yeah.
I mean, I think Favreau was basically like he had this storyboarded out. Like, okay, this is my this is my Dune scene. This is my Jaws scene.
Here's the Rashomon scene.
That is good. That is good stuff, Melissa.
I love that.
I wish my captioning said that.
That wins. That wins.
That's great.
That wins the night. That's great stuff. Okay, so we're got to end this thing.
Mando he kind of electrocutes himself out of there. He blows up the payload.
Yeah,
he's got the detonator still.
He looks like the cool guy walking away from the explosion.
Yep.
Saves the day, and the Sand People. No. Something else. Vanth gives his armor back.
Yes.
Gives the armor to Mando, and then the Sand People. They find the crate dragon pearl.
Mm-hmm. They're excited about that.
Vanth gave it over. Like he was just like,
"Yeah, that was the deal. That was the deal he made.
Here you go."
Yeah, I mean, for Cobb Vanth though, he doesn't know. I don't think he knows the significance of the armor. First of all, I don't think he cared about the significance of the armor. If in this version,
he just took out the crate dragon.
Yeah, he saved
his town. So
yeah,
he saved not only his town, he saved anything that had to do with the Tusken Raider. I mean, yeah, it was a big deal.
He probably feels more confident in his abilities to take down people who threaten his village. And he feels like his village could probably fight back.
Yeah, and at this point, we get the idea that Tatooine in general there's not much going on.
Well, that's it. That's the whole episode. There's nothing else in there.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, it was a great episode.
Wait.
So then at the very end, we see
some guy shows up. I don't know.
We see the establishing shot of
the twin sons.
I guess it's Boba Fett there at the end.
It is Boba Fett. Yes, I believe that.
Tamura Morrison's back. Boba Fett.
He's got like one of those gaffer sticks. Is that what?
He's got Tusken Raider gear on his back.
Yeah, he's got a ton of stuff.
Gun
and he's got a scar on his face.
Yep.
Obviously, Sarlacc acid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, he's got no hair left. I mean, no eyebrows. I mean, he's worse for wear. So I mean, there's all kinds of stuff we could say about
Jacob. That is what I do every time I watch an episode the first time. I have to know how to be able to spell these guys' names.
I think that he is still in the bounty hunting game. And I think he's working for Moff Gideon.
Moff Gideon.
I think that he's after the child, and
you think Fennec Shan is still alive?
I think he could give two rips about the armor because he.
Man, I think he wants the armor, but
Obviously, I mean, he knows he's known where the armor. He's been on Tatooine all these years, and he doesn't know where his armor ended up.
Yeah,
I mean,
fair.
I just think that's a swerve, like this whole armor thing. I think he is working for Gideon, and he's going after Baby Yoda. That's my hope. That's just my theory.
He may be going for the child.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that
or
he
just
could
take
give
down
two
Mando.
rips about. And
so, okay.
So the only reason that he may care about the armor is because it was his dad's armor.
Yeah,
that's the only reason he might care about it. He certainly doesn't care about it from the Mandalorian side
dad's
of it.
Armor?
Yeah.
I mean, he's got beat up and repainted and crap. But yeah,
if you'll watch throughout the original trilogy, Boba is out for himself. I mean, he worked
and in the Clone Wars,
so he's going to have his own motives when it comes down to whatever he does in this season, even if he is working for Moff Gideon.
You got a Knowles fan up in here.
Yeah, go Knowles. The Seminole. Actually, it's fun fact: the head coach of Seminole basketball sent me this shirt because I used to work with someone who knew him really well. So, and I have a signed picture from him. This shirt and another shirt. So,
right.
I feel like humble bragging there. You know?
Yeah, that is a humble brag.
I mean, it's a fact.
What kidding. Is that, like a weak celebrity story? Is that what that is?
No, I'm just kidding.
Let's see.
Hey, so
Raw throwing shade. Oh man.
Hey, when's the last time Wyoming's won a championship?
Hey, Wyoming.
Whoa, nice.
Dude, Wyoming would. I don't think this year you would want Wyoming to play Florida State this year. I don't think that you would want
Wyoming.
That.
I don't fear Josh Allen.
Okay, so is Boba Fett? Is Fennec Shan still alive? Is that her name?
I think she's still alive.
Ming Na Wen. Ming.
I think that at the end of episode.
I'm not saying that right.
I think at the end of chapter 5, that was Boba Fett walking up on Fennec Shan. That's kind of
I think so too.
I mean, some people think it could have been Cobb Vanth, but I get the idea that it was probably Boba Fett. Because he sort of just seems to be paying attention to a lot of the goings on Tatooine.
I definitely don't think that was Cobb Vanth, because what would he have been doing there? You know, I very much think it's Boba at this point.
Yeah, I think so too. Which again, that leads me to believe that he
may have been working for Gideon at the time.
Exactly. I think that he is just another one of these bounty hunters.
Very speculative.
No. I don't go on Reddit and read any speculation. This is just my thoughts about this.
Yeah, no, it's just
that maybe as like a bonus, he wants to get this armor back. But I really could think that he cares less about the armor. I think he's in the game and he is looking for the child.
He's on the hunt.
I mean, he's on the hunt, working directly for Moff Gideon. I mean, which a lot of bounty hunters were. I mean, they freaking went and hired every bounty hunter they could to go for the child because, as Moff Gideon so eloquently says, "You have something I want." So he really wants the child. So I think that there we go. We did it.
Excellent episode.
An hour and 17 minutes later, we finished chapter 9. I promise.
It's longer than the actual episode.
It's longer than the actual episode, and I promise that the next one will not be as long.
So, do we think the next one's on Tatooine to start with?
Yeah,
I think the very beginning of the episode.
Mando did not take off yet.
Yeah, I think the very beginning of the episode is going to be.
We see him do is he takes off of that planet and then he's off to somewhere else.
I think we're going to go to whatever planet the Aqualish and the Quarren are hanging out on. I can't remember the name of that. Is Fat Maddox still here? I don't remember the name of the planet that they
look up the name for the next step. No, just kidding.
No, do not look up the name of the next episode.
No, don't do that.
Anyways, we got to get out of here. Go ahead, Earl.
Well, I was going to say, some people have speculated online and on that they're not even going to pay off this Boba Fett thing.
Not right away. I don't.
Right. That it may even be next season.
Probably not right away.
Yes, that's right. Fat Maddox right. Mon Cala. Of course, Fat Maddox right. Mon Cala. I think that's where we're going next.
Probably not right away, but I can't imagine they'll never pay it off.
No. I don't think that.
Filoni. Filoni does everything for a reason, and Favreau too. I mean, they're
a season later. I don't know. I'd feel kind of
It's only 8 episodes.
Finale.
They're already working on season 3. I mean, it's
they're
only
going to be shooting that soon.
I mean, it's yeah. I mean, I think it'll pay off for sure. Okay, so all the stuff. I mean, go like the episode, follow the channel, put the notification on, all that stuff to try and help us out here. I mean, this is we're going to keep doing this thing as long as we can. We're having a good time doing it, so I think it's but the end goal also, of course, we've got the Deucecast movie show. I don't know if it's as crazy as this is, but they're both fun in different ways. Sometimes they're both fun in different ways. This is fun doing this because it's real interactive. So I like it in that manner, that it's interactive with the people that are watching. And
I won Mike-tober.
You did. That's right. Spoiler alert.
Oh yeah.
Garrison.
Well, come on. It was Wednesday, guys.
It was this past Wednesday. Yeah, it was that was a great movie.
You should celebrate.
Yeah, that was a great movie. You should celebrate. That was a really good movie.
I'm seriously thinking about getting Criterion because of that.
Well, I just canceled it, so you can go ahead and I know I didn't. I just did
He's not pretentious, Earl.
I just did the 14-day thing, and I know I wasn't pretentious enough. Yeah. Anyways,
Jacob.
Oh, and I need to remind Jacob. He needs to read Dune.
Find out everyone else's placement. I didn't ruin the top 5.
That's right. Oh man, that's hilarious. All right, let's get out of here, guys. Thanks everybody for listening. And we will be back next week for Chapter 10, whatever the title of it may be. Thank you, Marshal Rifen. Thank you, Crate Dragon Pearl. This has been Crate Mikey. Thanks so much to everybody in the chat. It was really fun. Everybody have a great night. This was The Way.